There it is. There it is, finally! Let's go!
Hello and welcome to This Week in Surf. This is the weekly update for insiders, KSF No Lives, and aspiring 85 tick children, and I'm your host, Rapster. First in the news, great for everybody, is 2 new maps to play. Surf Forsaken by Wraith was finally added to KSF. It is a tier 5 linear map. It's mostly Maxwell, and it's a mid-range tier 5, so if you're a beginner surfer, you're going to have some difficulty, which is why there's also Surf Devs by Koga73, a whole new tier 2 stage map that's already been on CSGO for a little while, is now available to be added everywhere. So, in collaboration with Ronin, who did a bonus, and the legendary mapper Sky Complex, who makes hard but interesting bonuses, this map is ready to go, so definitely check it out on CSGO and hopefully later on KSF. Also, huge shout out to GFL. It's an 85 tick server on CSGO that has gifted us with a free private surfer for the month of September. 50 player capacity, and we will be using it for the Repster Surf Circuit every Sunday, as well as events on Fridays. So be on the lookout for that, and shout out to them. Nate got the first ever Surf Garden Stage 10 skip. I robbed him last week. He deserved a mention and possibly a top 5 for this skip. First shown in the Batman TAS vid and has finally been done for the first time. It took him just a few hours to do. He skips over this ramp, he doesn't use it, gets massive units into the end, and takes a world record checkpoint by 0.3 seconds. Amazing stuff from him. The biggest news for this week is Lemix 100% completion. Raldar is the only other person in the world who has done this, and now Lemix is in that club. When I profiled him, however, he was at 29%, so I'm not surprised that he got it. It's how quickly he did it. In just a month and a half, he went from 29% completion to 100%. However, he had already beaten the 2 hardest things in Surf. Surf Anubis, a tier 8 stage map that's highly technical, and Surf Exonic Bonus 3, a mixture of technical and unit heavy surf, not easy for anybody. Here are his notes from his process of getting 100% completion. So he really only used save lock for linear maps. For staged maps, he went in blind, and he had some maps and bonuses that were extremely difficult, so you should watch out for these. Surf Stitched, bonus 1. I looked at this, apparently really annoying and unnecessarily hard. He hated Surf Shambles, a tier 3 linear map that harkens back to old school technical style maps. He really didn't like it. He hated Surf Fruits too. Everybody hates that map, especially Spy Complex's second to last stage, probably intentionally annoying and really hard to get right. And Surf the Distance, a classic tier 5 linear map, 3 minutes long. He absolutely hated this map, which means he agrees with the Ancient One who recently put a video out on this map. Funny little connection there. And brings us to our first honorable mention, Tux on Extreme X. Here's why this record is so interesting. I talked to Tux, he didn't like this record, he only wanted a top 10, but he hits an insane direct. What this means is he's going into this teleporter in such a way that it slams him down onto the ground in the next stage. That means he falls faster and starts faster, saves a little bit of time, and then unbeknownst to him, he hits this world record in this run. Really cool to see. And we have a run update. Facility was retaken by Kenji. We covered this last week. This is Divine Clint's run, but this was super tight, and Kenji's new time is rank 7 on KSF. Remember that Surf Heaven is technically harder than KSF because it has slower settings. As a consequence, that means that the KSF record could go even lower than it is now. And brings us to the number 5 on this list, which also happens to be Lemix's last map he had to beat for 100% completion, is Tux on Surf Primero Fix. He takes just 0.03 off of the record, going back and forth with Rosberg, a Russian surfer who's very much coming up recently. Tux is currently known as a low-tier god. That means he's playing the, Sandtrap, Mesa, Utopia. These are the most completed, most competitive maps in the pool, trying to prove that he can beat anything. He's not restricted to this map pool. He's not done yet, and neither is Rosberg, who apparently is going after the Surf Mesa Aether record, another Maxwell low-tier map that's pretty competitive, and if he hits it, it could be a big minus. Which brings us to So the number 4 spot for this week is Divine Clint on Surf Syria again. If you don't know what this map is, it's really easy, tier 6 stage map, but really easy up until the last stage, which is extremely hard. And this is on the harder Surf Heaven settings. If this run was done on KSF, it would be the number 4 spot. That's craziness. On harder settings, he does this. However, this could go even lower and does not feature the last stage skip that is done by the top players on KSF. So if that happens, this could be a legendary run. Number 3 is Levi on Surf Love Tunnel Fix. Another extremely competitive map. 0.06 taken off the record and beats big names like Fishu, Koosh, and Tux. And he did it in one rotation, but there's no bigger name than Levi. We had to include it in this list. Y'all really love this record, so here's just a little bit of it. And remember, he did this through ping and on harder settings, which is amazing. But it's not better than our final Surf Heaven record for this week. SRC on Surf Utopia, taking 0.04 off the record with enormous names. Here they are. Hold on, let me pull them up. Juve, who just took it. Roldar, Tux, Koosh, Fishu, Divine Clint, Kenji. Huge names all on this top list. And he gets it. It probably didn't take him that much time either. Could be a sign that he wants to go for the KSF record, which is currently held by Jupiter and Tux above him. And the number 1 spot for this week, I robbed them last week. Maggie on Surf Juiced Beta 1. Sideways. They can't see the ramps. They basically have to do it from muscle memory and from like relational stuff. This is the first time the map has ever been beaten, and Maggie isn't done. Wants to bring the record even lower than this. I don't know if they're going for this skip. If you don't know, this map has a legendary end skip that saves a ton of time but is notoriously difficult and part of Sinsane 2, that incredible linear map that's tier 7. Definitely be on the lookout for that. But I need to give one final shout out to GFL and share information you made this far. You now have access to an 85 tick private server throughout the week, not just on Sundays. If you go in the description below, the IP and the password are in a command. You can put it into your console and play on this server anytime. It may be empty so you can grind out records on 85 tick. GFL is pretty competitive, not gonna lie. So it could be fun to try to grind on there, and we will be using it for Fridays and Sundays. Here's the problem. If I am at like 35 players, 30 players for these events, I'm going to reduce the capacity of the server from 50 to 30 because I will be paying for it soon. If we can get those events to consistent 48 or 50 players, I'm going to maintain the capacity forever. So definitely come to those events on Sundays at my Twitch channel. Check out the private server during the week and check out GFL's Discord in the description below. Thank you for watching and good luck slotting those triangles.